often have you wondered when you're scrolling, listening to podcasts, watching people on TV, what is this person really like behind closed doors, completely uninhibited? Like, I bet they're the same person, but I'd be curious to see what that's all about. What's inside of that person's wild mind when no one's really watching or listening? Well, I'm giving you that gift. So you are either going to fall in love with me on another level by listening to this episode, or you are going to have lots of judgments that come up and say that Tiffany should get fired. I don't know what to tell you. I am cringing that I'm even authorizing having this episode go public, but you know what? This is part of me, and zero fucks given. What up, my people, my posse, my fellow crazies? It's your host, Tiffany Carter, and this is the show that is going to help you grow your business, your bank account, that big, beautiful brain of yours, your relationship, your abundance, and everything in between. We're just going to get right into it. I recorded this part separately. So if you're watching here over on YouTube, Project Me TV, please put in the comments below so I know what you're thinking about this episode. If we do not hear back from you that you want more of this side of Tiff, Tiff on a gummy, Tiff riffing, Tiff going on a rant, then I'll know that we are not doing any more episodes like this. If you do want more, please make sure that you're putting in comments here on YouTube. You're taking a screenshot of the episode and sharing it. I purposely recorded the intro to the episode the next morning when I have had clear mind and the gummy had worked itself through my system. So I wanted to make sure that you guys just had a solid warning that this is pure evidence that when I call you my fellow crazies, how wild this overthinking, overanalyzing, creative, strategizing, Virgo, PTSD mind is, you're about to get pure evidence. And I also think this is a great example of we tend to hide parts of ourselves. We tend to compartmentalize parts of ourselves. Oh, this will be appropriate. If I really showed all of me, then no one would buy from me. No one would listen. No one would like me. People would think this, that, or the other. And one of my main missions with this show, with my business coaching and money healing brand, with my platform, is to really reinforce the message of we give way too many of our fucks away. Giving those fucks away and compartmentalizing those parts of ourselves that are more vulnerable or more raw or more honest, that's actually what ends up changing people the most. That gives other people permission to show up as their weird selves and accept and embrace those parts of themselves because they realize, oh, we're all really not that different. We're all whack in different ways. So if you love this episode as you're listening, if you want more of this truly uninhibited Tiff, you need to take a screenshot of the episode and share it. If you're watching here on Project Me TV on YouTube, obviously make sure you're subscribing here, but put it in the comments, leave 5 stars on Spotify, do a written review on Apple Podcasts. And that way we'll know that you want you want more of this wildness. We're going next level. This isn't even Tiff 2.0, it's Tiff 3.0. Now, because I don't remember how many times I mentioned it, if at all, in the episode, tomorrow is day one of 3 days to make bank online. This is my once a year free live training. This is $25,000 of information I'm giving you. That's how much I am paid by corporations to do this level of training, teaching you how to monetize your gifts, passions, and talents online. This doesn't matter if you're starting from scratch. if you've had a business for 20 years, even if you're in a corporate marketing department or sales position, if you want to bring in more coin and have different revenue streams online, I am teaching you a skill that Forbes has listed for several years in a row now as the top income generating skill that you can learn. And it's not just content marketing, it's around messaging, it's around being able to connect and package offers and connect with your content and your messaging to your ideal clients so people literally can't resist buying from you, whether it's a brand, whether it's a product based business or a service based business. Go to projectmewithtiffany.com/make bank. This is almost completely gone. There are almost no more spots left. We're at 95% capacity, and this maxes out. And it maxed out last year and people got pissed. So go down inside the show notes. You can swipe up. You can go into the description on YouTube. It's in the top of my bio in both Instagram and TikTok at Project Me with Tiffany. Get your spot, get in there. Yes, there's a replay for those of you who are in different time zones, who have jobby jobs. You get access to it for 48 hours and then it disappears. And we're also doing $15,000 of giveaways, including scholarships to my signature program that I only run once a year, Selling with Soul, which drops to the Make Bankers first. So that's the other reason to be in here is you get first dibs on Selling with Soul if it's something that you feel drawn to do. And that's another thing that is going to fill up very quickly. So don't wait on this stuff. There's about 1,000 reasons not to. And let's see how many times I actually get to the point of some of these questions that were asked during this episode. Oh my gosh, I can't believe this. I can't believe I'm airing this. I'm either going to really be happy I did this, or it's going to be a failure that I'm going to laugh about for decades. Guys, I did something really different for this episode. I am live on TikTok right now with a lot of peeps from the posse. And I took a gummy and I thought I was taking one gummy that I thought it was. It was like very, very like low, whatever it's called, milligrams. This is like 3 times the amount I'd normally take. Like we've gone to another level. As anyone knows who's had an edible, who's had a gummy, you can't really control it fully. That's kind of the downside of it. Because as you keep digesting, you can get higher and higher. And for whatever reason, this happened during the last full moon too, and I didn't realize it was a full moon. But today I know that the full moon is well, when you're hearing this, it was the full moon's, what is it? Saturday. So you're hearing this Monday, right? So it's in Virgo. And I thought, oh, I really should go live on TikTok and I have to do my episode and I haven't done it. And last time when I felt that way, I did it live on TikTok and people liked it. And then we did a live card pull. And so I want to share that. So I pulled it from my abundance card deck. We had to get to like 5,000 in order to get it. And this is what you are being called. I'm being called from the universe because I didn't pick, right? Like I didn't look at the cards. The universe picked the cards. God picked the card. Okay. Your higher power picked the card. And we got, I am ready for expected and unexpected abundance to flow into my life. So those of you watching on Project Me TV on YouTube, I'm holding up the card. So let me know what you think about it. And on YouTube, you can just even type in Project Me with Tiffany Carter, the podcast. You can type in Project Me TV. You can type in my name, Tiffany Carter, and it should come up. If you're someone who's like a neurodivergent or someone who really likes feeling like they're interacting with the person they're talking to, comment in real time. Like, just like I want people to comment in real time when I'm live on TikTok at Project Me with Tiffany, because it's fun. And I told them, oh my God. And the reason I'm doing this again is because when I did it last time, there were 41,000 people. I don't know if it was like a weird anomaly, some crazy shit that happened, but it was insane. And then you get people who ask like wild questions. Wild. Yeah, I'll answer questions. So what I'm doing is I'm answering questions live and you guys can ask me anything. We actually got an amazing question, but I started answering it. The shit was profound. I wasn't recording, hence the gummy. And then I lost my train of thought. Then I somehow remembered it many minutes later and then still forgot to record. So there is a chance someone could ask this question or that I'll remember it and the answer is profound. So anyone can ask me questions around making money online, manifestation, healing money blocks, money wounds, or random questions about me. And that doesn't mean I'm going to answer them because something I learned from being a good little codependent who's had 5,000 years of therapy is that just because someone asks you a question, that doesn't mean you have to answer it. That doesn't mean you have to be like a dick about it, but you don't have to answer it. I might regret this, you guys, and I don't see enough likes going on the screen. You gotta, this is real vulnerable, okay? How many of your asses would do this? Not many. Who knows one? I mean, well, obviously, like Joe Rogan does this, but like he's a different level of baller status. Okay. Like I'll get there. But it's like, how many female multimillionaire entrepreneurs that and podcasters are sitting with you on a Friday night, shuffling an abundance card deck, clearly getting higher by the minute on gummies while live on TikTok, wearing a no fucks given hat and answering your questions. This is not normal. Yeah, thank you for saying that. I love that you said that. Thank you. You're right. Skell said, if boys can do it, so can you. You know what? What a great fucking point. Because this is how deep this success and money and abundance shit goes. Because we can't deny the fact that is, especially like the white male, okay, on top of it. But they get away with being able to do so much stuff and then they're like celebrated for it, right? And I'm not trying to be like on some feminist bandwagon or something. It's just facts. But if a woman was getting that high, I mean, I guess the call her daddy chick does get high, but it's not as in a raw way, right? I definitely was brought up in a way, and maybe because I'm a Zennial. So a Zennial's like the oldest of millennials. So you're in this weird cusp, which actually works to my advantage because I relate so well to the entire age span of the millennial. And I have the respect from what's the next one? Is it Gen Xers? Because Gen Xers most are very judgy on millennials. Wow. I don't know what I just said, but I really hope it was good. Okay, let's see what you guys are writing. How can we manifest 0 to 1 million this month? You can't. I shouldn't say that, but like I'm more blunt. That I shouldn't say you can't, but I'm not that type of manifester. I serve it to you straight. Yes, there are people, and if I'm really in some mode, I can go around with it. But here's why I don't teach that way. Where the fuck did that card go? You asked for the card, and now the card's missing. And if it's somewhere embarrassing, I will show you because now I'm thinking it's going to be. Wow. This is not going well. I don't know. Jen's my podcast producer. Jen, this is this is going to either be your easiest editing job or your worst editing job. I almost want you to keep this in here because I'm horrified with myself. Why I say, you can't, or let's not focus on manifesting 0 to 1 million in a month. And listen, if you're someone who's already making $1 million a month, or you're making even a $500,000 or more, like, it wouldn't be a strange thing for me to even say that, because it's all relative, right? Like, my abundance meter, my capacity to receive wealth is increased enough over time, where me saying a million a month is not, you said 1 million this month. 1 million this month, meaning like 1 million for my launch or something. That sounds reasonable to me. But the me who was making 100K, hell no. So when you go further with something, then you are ready to receive, then you really consciously and subconsciously know is absolutely possible for you. It won't happen. So it's a waste of energy to try to manifest these ridiculous numbers. That's why not one of my cards, not one of these, you will hear them say things that your brain couldn't believe right now. Here's an example. I make millions just being myself and following my intuition. We're not saying that I make millions right now. I took that part out, right? So we're just saying I make millions. I didn't put a time stamp on it. I'm giving you another example of a card. And now it sounds like I'm doing this to sell my cards. And this is not what we're doing. My whole purpose here, besides wildly entertaining you, is my once a year free live training event that's world famous, 3 days to make bank online. It's tomorrow. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you have to be registered. It might be at full capacity. At the time of this recording, I think we're at like 87%, and people get pissed off every single year, because then they go to try to get on and they can't, and they blow up our support email, blow it up. My DMs are blowing up. Everyone's blowing up. And it's like, listen, I wasn't making this up. This is really like, this is how it is. And if you're going to be at work during the time of the lives, yes, I am offering a free replay for 48 hours after each day, and then it disappears. Because I know you guys have jobs, you're from all over the world in different time zones. So that's why we're doing that. To register, you can go to projectmewithtiffany.com/make bank, projectmewithtiffany.com/make bank. If you're listening to the podcast or watching it, you can swipe up and look at the show notes. If you're on YouTube, it's in the description. Let's go to another question. I'm slightly paranoid, though, that I cannot find the card that we pulled. Okay, I did find it. I feel better about myself. I was really losing it there. I am ready for expected and unexpected abundance to flow into my life. So this is what we're all, including myself, the universe picked this card for us. Okay. Like what we are pulling in, what we are clawing in a lovely, beautiful way, and slowly, like nails going across sand, and just clawing all that abundance to us. And that's what we're bringing in with this new energy. Thank God there's a new moon. I don't know what the fuck happened from the last one, but I had a lot of shit go down in my life. Like, more for my book. I had a friend say that to me when I was like, I don't even know what to say anymore. This shit has gotten wild, like pure wildness. My mom, I'm pretty sure I can say this. I'm not saying her name, and our names are different. So people can't find her name. And it's also the truth. So my mom has now been married 5 times. And I know that's not as uncommon anymore. But what's fucked up is that who I refer to truly as a second father, like he was my stepfather since I was 17, so, and I primarily lived with my mom. So I was technically spent way more time with my stepfather than I did my own father. So, and this man had like 500 lives. My mom married a much older man and he died, I think, at 97. That's impressive. So she was married to his ass a long time and she had me much later in life. So my mom is not like 60. Okay. Like my mom had me, like how people are having kids now, like in their 40s and shit, like much older, and it's like more normal now. That was my mom when she had me, which was very not normal, which says a lot. If you know any of my story that I share in my Make More Work Less money course, I go really into it. When you listen to enough podcast episodes and you binge them, you'll hear my story. Anyway, and when I say this bitch, I get to say this bitch. And I'm saying it kind of like in a slang way, like kind of like this crazy chick, that's how I'm saying it. Not that I need to, well, see, I feel like I need to even say that because I don't want to sound like I'm calling my mom that. Meanwhile, this woman pimped me out starting at age 11, and it could have happened before age 11. I don't have a memory of it before age 11. Like orchestrated it, okay? And I'm worried about that. Anyway, I thought, thank God my stepfather lived so long because I knew she wouldn't leave him. I also knew she was probably waiting low key for a payday as well. And I'm not saying she didn't deserve it. She did take very good care of him. And my mom like didn't cheat or anything like that. Okay. And never, my mom made her own money. So it wasn't like she was doing, shenanigans in that way. But so, I mean, I'm saying respect. She's looking for a payday. I'm not like judging her on that. The payday was certainly not what she thought and not what I thought and not in a good way. And that was, I felt sad for her. You can be sad for someone who's tortured you, who you're no contact with. That's how this is the best way that you get to peace with things, you guys, is compassion. It's not fuck forgiveness. I'm not a fan. I don't think if you were really bored and you scrolled through like all my YouTubes, my TikToks, my Instagram reels, podcast episodes, you went through everything. I don't think I have one fucking thing titled about forgiveness. And that's not a coincidence. How many books, how many basic ass people who teach basic manifestation, basic mindset, basic money stuff. And I know a lot of people love the basic, and you can tell me. And if you love a basic coach, a basic money mindset manifestation expert, a basic business strategist, like if you like the basic books, the basic information on podcasts, that's okay. Obviously, a lot of people do. When you look at the stuff that's like the number one bestsellers of New York Times bestsellers, the number one TV shows, the number one podcasts, most of them, not all, most of them are basic ass shit regurgitated that we've all heard a million times and read a million times if you've read enough of those books. But at one point in time, that knowledge wasn't basic to me. So I have to be humble and remind myself of that. I probably sometimes go too deep on things with you guys, and let me know. Be like, I would appreciate some of like the more basic stuff, the foundational stuff, Tiff. Like, let me know that. You can DM me on TikTok or on Instagram at Project Me with Tiffany. Do we think the gummy is escalating in strength as it's going through my intestines? What's happening? Anyway, the gummy's working. I already have short-term memory issues anyway. I'm sure this isn't helping. Okay, so we have to believe 100% and feel the belief in our bodies, or it's pointless and it won't work. No, I don't think you have to feel it 100%, 100%, 100% of the time. No, you don't, because I don't, and I have the receipts. So I can tell you no. And I've coached more than 150,000 people worldwide at this point, from all different backgrounds, different stories, different races, different religions, different economic classes, disabilities, you name it, sexual preferences. And none of them, and I'm thinking of like my most successful, like students, people I've coached, clients, none of them believed it 100% of the time that they could do it, that it was possible. They all doubted it. Let me give you a mind-blowing shooketh analogy. Is there one person you can think of that has never doubted if God existed, if there was a God, or if God forgot about them? Or can you honestly answer honestly? I don't know one person, and I know people who have been religious from, birth. I know people who were raised in super strict religions. I know people who are very strong in their faith, light in their faith, and every single person at some point or multiple points doubts if there's a God because they're in so much pain. I've coached people, more than one, sadly, who lost their children, like little kids. There's no way at a low point you're not doubting God or doubting if God cares about you. So, whether you guys believe in God or not, that's my analogy to go with the universe and manifesting. Of course, you're going to doubt it. Of course, you're going to slip in and out of the abundance zone. And the problem is, there are people out there, and maybe it's innocent. I'm sure it is. I'm sure it's that they're clueless, who are teaching manifestation in the spiritual world, teaching law of attraction, money stuff. And they're coming across like they're always in such abundance and such a vibe. And they have all the costumes. And I fucking love these people. Okay. Like I love partying with these kind of people. They're fascinating and creative and fun. But I could see how that could make someone go, I can't be in that vibe all the time. Like I have 3 jobs, like you think my ass when I was at Starbucks and then I was selling. This is so great. This is like beyond random, but I guess that's the point of this episode is okay. So that's my favorite job that I've ever had. Like if I lost it all, first of all, my ass knows how to make it back again. So I don't welcome this at all, universe. But like obviously I can make it back over and over again because I help people who aren't even me, who I can't control, another one of my clients just quit her jobby job, which is so exciting. When you're helping people do that. Emmy worked as a pizza waitress and she was able to quit her job. It's like we can do this over and over again. But Starbucks, I love it. But would I love it today? Shout out to my fellow Starbucks employees and former employees. Thank you for making me a complete coffee addict. So I was like, I wasn't like emo vibe, if you know what that is. I really was a crossbreed. I was really confused. I started working at Starbucks in high school. I just think it's so crazy that my 16-year-old ass was working at Starbucks. Like, that seems like a complicated job for a 16-year-old. It seems like I don't know. I just find it so random. Anyway, oh, so I kept working for Starbucks like in high school, even like after high school, while I was a newscaster, or not while I was a newscaster, when I was trying to get out of being a newscaster, they finally opened a Starbucks in this area. And I was also selling life insurance on the side. I was probably making some kind of point about, yes, manifesting. There is no way when you are working like that and what you want seems so far from where you're at that you don't doubt the universe, that you don't doubt God, that you don't question the universe, you don't question God. I guess that's a nicer way of saying doubt. If you're questioning something, you're not in faith, right? Period. You're not in surrender and faith. It's just a nice way of saying you're doubting the universe, you're doubting God. So that's going to happen. It's about you doing things deliberately to shift back into what I call the abundance zone. You want to stay in the abundance zone as often and as long as possible. Some weeks, if we cut it down like in a pie chart, some weeks I am at, I would say maybe an average of 40%. Okay. That's it in the abundance zone. Rarely am I at 100%. And I fucking teach this stuff. I've been studying this stuff for a long ass time. So just know that. So actually answer this question. What percentage do you think you stay in the abundance zone? Like, where were you at maybe this past month, since we're nearing the end of the month? Which, remember, 27th, 28th, 29th is 3 days to make bank. It's completely free. This is valued over $25,000. I only do it once a year. Like, think of it almost like as like a business, like community charity event that goes worldwide. That's what I do here. And I do also mention an open early for enrollment only to the people in Make Bank, my signature program, Selling with Soul, which is also only open and available once a year. That's it. And it's not just something I say. You can be really bored and scroll through all my social media and you'll see that's it, once a year. And once it's full, and there's no exceptions. So make sure you're enrolled. There are replays for 3 days to make bank. So go to projectmewithtiffany.com/make bank. It's in the top of my bios on TikTok and Instagram. It's in the description on YouTube. You can swipe up. It's in the show notes on all the platforms. So don't tell me you don't have the link. And it might already be at capacity when you go. So the page will tell you that. And I don't know what to tell you if you miss that. Like, I've been talking about this a long time. And just trust that if you're meant to be there live and you're meant to get a spot, that you were meant to be there. That doesn't mean you're like not worthy of abundance if you couldn't get in, but that's how I look at a lot of things. I'm normally pretty high in the zone, but lately not so much in the abundance zone. And that's okay. We go in waves. Maybe look at the abundance zone that's internal with you, like the stock market of a company, and not like some of you have volatile companies. You have a volatile internal company when it comes to abundance. And I'm like making this motion with my hand, like, right, you are on a line graph, you're going up, down, the stock's going up and down like a tech stock, like a Tesla. And then there are some of you who are what they call like a blue chip stock, like stocks that don't have, they grow over time more slowly, but it's pretty even. But it seems like it's, things are taking a long time to manifest, but you do see some improvement over time. That's where I was. I was more like a blue chip stock, but everything still seems far away. It's just not as much pain and excitement as like the Tesla manifester. And then what would I call the third manifester? What kind of stock would that be? I mean, what you don't want to be is like a penny stock, like a janky stock. That's no good. But I was a janky stock at one point, and guess what happens when you are a janky stock and you don't know better, or you don't like connect with someone who can help and teach you this stuff? You end up with janky cash and janky people and janky stuff in your life. So I don't want that for you. But I would say as long as you're as long as you are, I would say, a blue chip and a something that trends upward, we're okay. We're okay. I'm curious what you guys though feel like you identify with. Let's see what you guys have to say on here. This is the gamble I'm doing with this. Either this is going to be one of my most downloaded episodes, and I have another one, and it's probably from 2020. I'm sure it was pandemic Tiffany. That's a Tiffany that I wish we had more on YouTube about. There's some videos you'll see on TikTok for sure. You'll go, I bet that was pandemic Tiffany. And we all have a version of that pandemic version of ourselves. Oh my God, pandemic Tiffany was not cute. I lost my shit. Like, it was not cute. This was not good. This is not good. I mean, it wasn't good for anybody. It wasn't, well, some people though, some people actually, it did go well. There's people who like really lost like a ton of weight, got snatched, were making the fucking smoothies. I understand some parts of, okay. I had a client who is a super, super introvert. Like I think I'm an introvert and I am, but I also have a high need to be social as well. And that I didn't realize that until the pandemic. I thought I was like a hardcore, the hardest of core introvert, empath, highly sensitive person. Not like a recluse, but I could manage, but I needed to recharge more than other people because I was shamed a lot for being more introverted because I was raised by a narcissist mom who is an extreme extrovert. Most of the stuff, the no fucks given. Zero fucks given. We cannot get me started on singing. On Make Bank, by the way, we're giving away my abundance boxes. We have $15,000 of giveaways. And my card deck that you can see here, this is the only way to get like the physical deck. I do sell the digital deck and you can print them and have them laminated. And then you get all sorts of other goodies in the box. I can't tell you, but they're very on brand. Share a tip you've never shared before. Thank God for you. We're very lucky right now. There's some people who are on point in the TikTok live going on who are keeping questions coming because otherwise this wouldn't be a podcast episode. It would be me not even knowing what the hell I'm talking about and changing topics rapidly. I can't listen back to this. Jen, we're talking to Jen, my podcast producer. Jen, you better fucking tell me if this is like Tiffany's getting fired. Like, you have to tell me this. And if not, if you're dying and you're loving it, then you can even keep this part in where I'm talking to you. Okay. We'll see if this, there's no, you guys will have to listen on Monday. It comes out at like 5, is it 5:30 a.m. Eastern? You'll have to see if she keeps it in. This might not be the episode because I don't, what has happened? Like, what was I even saying? The abundance box. It's all these great curated items, but like we give scholarships to my signature selling with soul program that launches to the Make Bankers first dibs on day 2. I love giving the scholarships away. That makes me so happy that I get to do that. There was a long ass period in my life, man, where there's no way I would have been able to have worked with the Tiffany who I am now. Like I wouldn't have been able to afford it, or I would have been too intimidated or scared maybe, but I would have wanted it. I would have dreamed about it. And those of you, which like always makes me cry, that like send me pictures where I'm on your vision board. It's like, oh my God, I'm on someone's fucking vision board. Like that's legit. And I know all y'all put someone who you like wanted to, you wanted the proposal from and shit. Like, I know like there's people you've put on the vision board or people that represented those people. Think about that. How special that person has to be to somebody to be on their vision board. That's why it like totally blows my mind. I mean, I had Gabby Bernstein on my vision board. She's like my OG. And I got like, was it Spirit Junkie Masterclass? Like, I don't know, the first round. And it was like, I think it was 1,800. And I like, you could have done payment plans, but I wanted the discount of paying in full. And that was like a long time ago. And I still didn't start my fucking business. Thank you. Because so what that you take a program? So what you take a course? So what you read a book? So even so what you hire, even if you hired me and you hired me privately. Okay? Like even if you did that, so what? I've had people I've coached. I can't make someone do something. I can encourage you. I can support you. I can craft the best shit that there's no way people would buy it. And we do it together because it still has to be yours. And I can teach you how to create your messaging so that you stand out, so that people are just so drawn to it, how to create content where it feels fun and easy, how to deal with all the objections and the shit people say to you. I can do all of that. I can go deep in the wounds of that money shit. I'm talking ancestral shit. I'm talking shit you never thought was the connective thread. But what I can't do is I can't make you follow through and do it. We can't do that with anybody. And let me tell you, I'm in recovery for a long time for codependency, which is a real disease, by the way, of the mind. And I thought most of my life that you could control someone, change them, get them to change, force them to change. And they call it the 3 M's, and it's managing, mothering, manipulating. And the line in my 12-step program that I'm in is you can say something to someone and explain it to someone one time, but you do it more than one time, you're in the 3 M's: managing, mothering, manipulating. Why do you need to keep saying it? And if you're with someone you have to fucking keep saying it to, you're insane. Because someone who gives a shit and is present, you don't need to keep telling them multiple times. Either they're incapable or not willing. But it's a very hard lesson, and I can still fall into it. It's such a hard lesson. It's terrible. It's shocking. It's horrible because it's like when you realize that that person is either making the choice to not give a fuck or isn't willing, incapable, that can take time to figure out, and a professional to help you figure out if that's true, because some people fake the incapable. It's really manipulation, so you have to be careful with that one. But if it's someone isn't, hearing that someone isn't willing and that someone just doesn't fucking care or want to, that sucks. It's much easier to believe that if we just told them in this way and we said it when we were crying, or we yelled it, we wrote them a letter, we sent them text messages, we asked them at a different time of the day, we go to couples therapy, and then there's someone there to hear it. Oh my God. And then they still don't. We can't do that. I can't do that with you. That's not my job. So I always say to people when they're like, oh, well, coming to 3 days, to make bank be good for me. I haven't started a business yet, or I'm this far along in business, or I have this type of business. My answer is yes, as long as you show up all 3 days and participate. And if you can't do the live, do the replays and the homework. But if you're going to like phone that shit in and not do what I put in there, are you going to get the results that I said you can get from it? Of course not. So you have to just be honest with yourself. And I'm not saying anything I share with you. I always tell people on the podcast too, there, you don't have to be perfect with anything I share with you. Like legit. I am not. Like obviously. Like look what you're dealing with right now. If you could wait, hold on. If you can only do one, thank God someone asked me a question. Please help me. If you could only do one thing a day for your business, what would it be? Oh, like I'm assuming you meant to grow your business. One thing, this is good shit. You guys better keep asking me this. What did I say? Oh, I said the other night I had someone over, and we were smoking out of a bong, and I said, "Oh, it's cached." And he had no idea what the fuck I was talking about. And he was like, "What?" And I was like, "It's cached." Like I thought, I mean, I also live in LA, and I live at one of the most famous like surfing beaches in actually the world. So I do pick up a lot of lingo from the people around. I mean, that's a very LA thing to say, like it's cashed, man. It's how these people actually talk like that. So is cashed of the cringy marijuana cottonmouth area? Yeah, surf lingo is a little different. Okay, so cashed means, and you can use it, I guess, for other terms, like other things, but it's when you're smoking out of like a bowl or you're smoking out of a bong and you go to light it and there's like nothing left to burn. It's all cashed out. It's all gone. You have to reload it. That's what it means. Wow. Aren't you happy that you are listening to this episode? I am either going to get fired for this or this is going to go viral. I would much prefer it goes viral. And there's probably going to be people that don't love this, Tiffany. And here's what I have to say about this, because I know a lot of you don't follow through on doing the things that you really want to do for your business, that you really want to do for your life. Maybe you've done somewhat, but you're not going the next level. You're not going the next level with it. And it's because you care so much about what other people think. What will happen if I do blank? And then what they will think is, it's not just what they will think. It's really what you think the repercussions or the cost will be because of those people. So because of what you're worried about, what they will think, it's not, you don't care. Like someone just thinking something, you think shit about people all the time. Some lady came up to me who knew me, I don't know if it's from yoga. And let me tell you, that baby of hers was ugly. Like I'm talking shockingly ugly. And I had the thought in my head. I was like, oh my God, the baby's ugly. I hope it's just a phase. I mean, of course I didn't seem that way, but we all have thoughts. What am I talking about? What's happening? Oh, we're talking about zero fucks about what people think. Zero fucks given. Okay, bong party at Tiff's house. Listen, this is not this is not abnormal. That's why I want you to know, you think that in order to make millions of dollars and be an entrepreneur that runs two companies, I teach major sales trainings. I work with multi-billion dollar brands. Okay. But this is who I am. And I guess my point I was trying to make are, if there's listeners, even if you're a loyal listener for a long time and you're like, I feel some type of way about this, Tiffany. I don't like this, Tiffany. I don't like how loosey goosey she is and silly she is and whatever. I'm not going to buy from her now. I don't have as much respect for her. Like, why would a woman of her wealth act like that? Or someone with her level of audience or platform act like that? I don't know what to tell you. This is who I am. And a lot of you guys hold yourself back because you're afraid if people really knew. And I know, because it took me 10 years to start this podcast and this business coaching brand. And I was already a successful entrepreneur and I had the money to start it. And I even had the time to start it and the knowledge and the skill set to start it. And it still didn't matter because I came up with all sorts of internal stories. And I was worried that I would lose all my clients in my other business, which is a digital marketing and branding firm for medical, pharmaceutical, health supplement companies, like a very specialized. Because you have to market differently when you're in the health and medical sector. There's a lot of guidelines. You have a box that you can market in, but my Virgo ass, my strategy ass, I love me marketing in a box. I love it when you guys come to me. Like, I get off on this shit and ask any of my friends. I will sit there. I'll have wine with you. I'll smoke with you. I'll be sober with you. It doesn't matter. I don't need to be on some substance. And we You tell me your reason why you can't, and I will fucking not just tell you why you can, I will show you why you can. I will dig and find evidence. And some of you guys are so fucking challenging. Your brains are wild. And I have a client right now, and I hope you're listening to this episode. I'm sure you are, because she does the frog medicine. You know how I joke in other episodes where I call it like the magical frog poison that people are now injecting themselves with. I mean, it actually is a thing and it really does help a lot of people, but she specializes in those medicines. So I know she's going to appreciate this episode. She's one of the most challenging, complex, creative minds. It's like a intricate maze in there. It's like a 5,000 piece Lego set. But I love it. It does not annoy me. I get it. And I'm like, she's like, oh no, we hit an end in the main. There's no way. And then she'll go like this and then go like this. And every resistance, she'll make a little bit. It's like this. Right now, it's tight in there. And anytime I go, nope, look, you can go this way. Then she goes this way. And over time, is the maze going to be completely gone? At some point, it'll be a light maze. But the goal in working with me, doing my Make More Work Less money program, which it has like a guided workbook with it and everything. That's why I can say you can transform your money story in 7 days or less. It's because we are not going to get rid of the maze in your mind around this money shit and the self-doubt, all that stuff. We're making it, instead of like a 7,000 piece Lego set, now we're at one that's manageable, like those 1,700 ones where you're like, this might be a little bit of a stretch, but we can pull that off. It's not too intimidating. Wow. That was two analogies in one, and that was dangerous. How did that go? Did that land? I do not know. No, I have talked nonsense and wasted people's time, and that is my biggest insecurity, I guess you could say. Maybe that's not the right word. Not insecurity. I would be horrified to find out I've wasted anyone's time. Thank you for the roses. That's sweet. Thank you. That means a lot. I don't want to ever waste your time. Even it doesn't matter if you're paying or not. I literally took off. Like I have days off, space in my calendar. I'm traveling for 3 days to make bank. I have booked like a special hotel. We've got costumes. There's a lot of shit going on, a lot of energy I need to get in to be in this prime state to give you the best for the 3 days, but you're not paying $1. So fucking what? But it's because the last thing I want to do is waste anyone's time. I hate having my time wasted. We should be able to invoice people for wasting our time. In fact, I need to make my dream, and I am still working on it, but it got deprioritized. It's not that it's not important, but it's like just got moved down the shelf a little bit. But I would love to have, like, in my office supply line, that'd be really fun to have like sticky notes, like shit for wasting your invoice for wasting my time, and then you can like write the number in there, and I would fucking leave this shit on people. I would love it. I'd hand it out to people, even if I had it just for myself, and I could put a time in there and then like crumble it up, like being pissed, like someone who like talked some, like, don't fucking talk to me for 20 minutes about nonsense, about the weather. I understand people are shy and uncomfortable, which is why it's so important for people to get proper like care in the mental health world. Like I'm talking diagnosed with any of this stuff, because when you don't have a diagnosis like depression, anxiety, in my case, complex PTSD, like you just think you're fucked up and something's wrong with you. Like, how sad is that? How many people walk around? Now, there are people who are misdiagnosed. Do I think some things are overdiagnosed? I yes and no. I think our world has gotten so wild and you add the, fucking pandemic, no shit. When people are like, oh, everyone's taking an antidepressant, everyone has anxiety. When I hear someone saying that, it's like, you think? Like, unless you're not awake, I mean, obviously, like, yes, how couldn't there be? We don't give ourselves enough grace. Oh my God. I don't think I did answer a question and I just remembered it. Someone asked, what's the one thing that I would do to grow a business if I could only do one thing a day? Do you guys remember that? Those of you who have been on and have not lost interest, I'm dead. Oh my God. Oh, Jen, please. I will personally come find you if you do not be honest with me if we need to re-record this episode. And if not, you can leave this in because this is probably the third time I've said it because I'm paranoid. And I gotta tell you, I thought at some point this gummy was going to like flatten out. We'd be in a flattened state, an ease state. This is not what's happening here. This is continually growing. And I need to answer that question on the one thing I would do a day to grow my business. Wow. I'm like a verbal tease right now. That's what I am. I feel like that's so annoying. Content. You're asking me Tiffany today versus like how I built my other business, different answer. It would be content. But I'm talking high quality, fun, creativity. I would pour that motherfucker in there and I would pick two platforms. And if that's not allowed to answer this question, then it'd be one platform and nail that motherfucker. Which platform would I pick? Starting from scratch, it depends on like what it is you want to do and what your thing is. So without me knowing that, I would say, ooh, and I don't know why I hate to say it, but I would say you right now, YouTube, TikTok. I'm not saying it's not possible on Instagram, but I'd say YouTube, TikTok. And if I could only pick one without knowing what industry and what you're good at, that's tough because TikTok's all video. And you can't be, you notice how you don't see that many people who are super full of shit on here? Like, not that we know everything about the people behind the scenes or whatever. Some people are sociopaths and amazing at faking it. But you don't see the the influencer. Like, you have the influencers, but the ones that are doing well, they're actually real. Like, I feel confident if I met them in real life that they would be pretty close to that without a doubt. Like, that's what does well on here. And that's why, and I thank you guys from my podcast through my email list. That's another thing to be on, by the way. It's not just some random like newsletter, old school bullshit. It is my Secret Posse weekly digest, and you get a weekly affirmation, custom affirmation from me. I give you exclusive manifestation tips and exercises and mindset work. And then I share a lot of like personal stories. So you can go to projectmewithtiffany.com/secret posse. And that is also in the link in my bios and all the places. I feel like this would be a good nugget to wrap this, whatever the fuck we just did here with Tiff on a gummy, wrap this up, is some thing inside every single one of you. I know there's a dot, there's a cell, there's no way. I know you've had the thought at least once before where you're meant for more. You know you're meant to do something else. You kind of know it. I had no fucking self-worth, okay? Like, I had none. It was all, anything I had was faked. I would like watch what other confident kids look like and adults look like and mimic them. But I still knew, and I remember the memory too. I think I have a picture actually of me from that. And some of you guys are going to die a slow death because this is from like the 90s. And I think this place was around since the 70s. I think it was a hard scam. Barbizon Modeling School. Some of you are going to literally die. Me even saying Barbizon. Barbizon Modeling School. Who fucking remembers? This is like the supermodel era, the Cindy Crawford era, Claudia Schiffer, dead. So Chicago. Glamour shots, dead. This is so fun. I am dying. Glamour shots. Like, and I always wanted a glamour shot. I was jealous of the kids who got them. That wasn't going to happen. Like, I was raised in such a weird way that like glamour shots was like gauche, as my mom would say with a fake rich person accent. Moira from Schitt's Creek. Picture that. So all I knew at Barbizon, you had to do a fashion show, which I'm sure also you had to pay for to be in the fashion show because it was a scam. And I did dance, okay? Like I did all the dance classes, the hip hop, all the shit, the ballet, competed, that kind of stuff. And I had to do a dance. Like it was like a talent competition, so I had to make up a dance. But you're supposed to like practice this for like months and months. Like I think you signed like a year contract to be at Barbizon while they took your money for all the narcissistic parents. Or the parents who like wanted their kids to bring in coin for them, which I'm sure was the other reason. And then my mom found a different way to bring in coin for me. That's me making an inappropriate joke that only people with traumatized childhoods would laugh at. So I had to make up the dance on the fly, which I pulled it off, which I got a big high from it. I had like truly like I guess you could call it situational learning disabilities. It was the complex PTSD. That's why it was so hard for me in dance class and dance competitions. I would have to always watch the other girls. I couldn't remember the choreography because I'm in such trauma all the time. That shuts down. It's a miracle I got through school. Like I have no idea. I had to study so much harder than other people. So much harder. Oh my God. Anyway, I got a high. I had to pull it off. I had to do it because there's no way that would have gone well with my mom, if I didn't do it. And wow, I loved it. So clearly, I like the element of being live on a stage. Like, I loved it. Well, what am I doing right now? I'm live on TikTok. I'm recording this podcast live, right? On YouTube. It's like I go speak on stages. I do live sales trainings. I do live events. I'm teaching in 3 days to make bake live on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And depending on when you're listening to this, that could be tomorrow or even today. So go to projectmewithtiffany.com/make bank so that you can make sure that you are in there. So I loved it. My point is, look at that dotted line, you guys. I don't know if I was 10 when I did that, 9 or 10. So there is always a seed inside of you when you pull the layers back enough on either what you're already doing today, if you're doing something you love, and if you're not and you're wondering what you can do, go back to that. But sometimes you need people to help you go back, which is what I did for you with my Make More Work Less money course, my guided workbook course with videos and everything for you. Is you need help getting in there. You've already tried to figure it out on your own probably your whole life, probably with books, probably still by listening to me in the podcast. You can't it's too complex. You can't be expected to figure it out on your own. And nothing's wrong with you because you can't. I couldn't figure it out. Hell, I still can't figure out what the hell is going on. Like, how am I this wealthy? Like, how am I alive? I have no idea. I'm supposed to be here. And you're supposed to be here right now. And we don't know how long we get here. We have no idea. That is not in our control, even though, yeah, we can do some things to stack the odds in our favor, right? And I talk about that all the time in business and in your health, right? But like there's a lady I just saw, I think I saw it on Instagram where she's still alive. She's 104 and she drinks 3 Dr. Peppers a day. I don't think this woman is like ever was into exercise either. We have no idea. And then like my mentor and friend of 20 years, Dr. Alex Kadavi, love you. Thinking of you. Thank you for everything that you taught me. I obviously still get emotional because that happened suddenly right before US Thanksgiving. But he saw in me where I'm at now. He saw in me. Sometimes all it is you need to have someone see it in you. I truly see it when I focus. It can't just, I'm not in like some crowded room, but when I focus, like even when I have like my mastermind event here at the beach and, or even in virtual, like Inside Selling with Soul, my signature program that opens first, dibs go to the Make Bankers if you're signed up for Make Bank. And that enrollment opens on day 2. I only offer that once a year. And that's that. So it's your shot or wait till 2025. I can see where it is in you. When sometimes I have to ask enough questions, but I need to, that's why I have to see you on a screen or see you in person because your body doesn't lie. Your eyes, eyes don't lie either. If you've ever been with a narcissist or a sociopath, I mean, no one had taught me this. It would have been nice to know that they have dead eye because then when you go and look back at pictures or if you see them in person, you're like, holy shit, they have dead eye. How didn't I see it? Because you're in a damn manipulative fog. So you can't see it. But I can see through someone's eyes, their mannerisms, even like how their voice changes. A lot of times people cry with me because they go, wow, that's it. How did I lose that? How did I lose that memory that was a strong memory? Because life is wild and there's so many traumas and that you go through and we have so much coming at us and we don't spend enough time on our own and in quiet and in solace and time with the universe. That's why I keep telling you guys to go on my abundance walks. Even you listening to my podcast while you or my videos, especially the ones on TikTok at Project Me with Tiffany, while you're walking, that's better than you sitting on your couch like scrolling or getting involved in other people's drama or dealing with people who waste your damn time talking to you about nonsense or constantly people pleasing. Yes, on my own for almost 3 years, trauma fog, earthing helps. 1,000%. I go, and what I also do, I just shared this on Instagram yesterday, like water helps me. It's that external sensation. And even last night I went, I got a clear calling and I know to trust those. And I went for an abundance walk and it was late. And it was, I mean, for here it's cold. It's really not cold. I, I love when I say that my Canadians always come in hard for me. Cold. You don't know what cold is. I spilled coffee and it froze on the way down. Like I love when you guys come for me for that shit. It's true. It is. It's not really cold in LA, but it feels cold. And I like that feeling on my face. I Angel asked, what's an abundance walk? It's something I've created to get you out of fear and scarcity and shift you back into the energy of abundance. And it's designed to work within minutes. And it's a guided walking meditation. And I give them for free. And they're at the top of my page and my link in bio on TikTok, on Instagram. Obviously now I need to link those here as well. So that's where you can get it. I would appreciate us giving me additional validation for this. This is wildly vulnerable. You need to tell me things or I'm deleting this. Like I won't even send it to Jen. So I need to know Was this interesting? Was this different? Was it nonsense? Was it entertaining? Did you get any wisdom or anything out of it? Like, seriously. And I'm not going to be upset. Don't be mean, but I'm not going to be upset. I constantly tip creators, and I don't care if they have money or not. I would tip, would don't you tip people, street performers? And if you don't and you like a street performer, you're a cheap ass and you're in scarcity and you're not sharing the abundance. So why would the law of reciprocity come to you? Right? Like, I delight in doing that for creators. It's not like people I feel sorry for, like someone giving good content. But it's like my friend Regina and I joke, like, we give good phone. Like, it's a talent. Like, who knows what I'm talking about as I use my hand signals. I give good phone. That's why I'm also good live, good teaching in groups live, like digitally as well. If we really want to go deep with this, because I grew up rich, which a lot of people don't realize, I have a lot more of my story on the episode before this of how I made $1 million by the time I was 30 and then lost basically all of it. And then how I built it all back up again. So that's on there. You need to listen to that. This takes guts to be this vulnerable and open and exposed and casual and let people just see you riff and hear the real you and not have a plan and not have a bunch of notes in front of me. This is vulnerable and raw, right? Like, just think about that you already have this thing in you, and you're only a few questions away from knowing what that is. But you need someone to prompt you. So you have some options here, right? Binge the fuck out of this podcast. That's obvious. Obviously, go to, if there's spots left, go to 3 days to make bank live, free, uh February 27th, 28th, 29th. You get the replay for 48 hours and then it disappears for people who have jobby jobs, or you live in, a crazy time zone where you would have to wake up at 2 a.m. Although we have a lot of people who will stay up for this. Next move, if you know you've got money shit, stuff, self-doubt stuff, there's blocks in there and you've been trying to get at them and you've been wondering and asking questions for a long time, you got to go do my money course. It's one of a kind. There's hundreds and hundreds of reviews in my Instagram highlights, more than I could even fit in there. You can go to projectmewithtiffany.com/make more work less. And there's a flash sale right now where it's $200 off. It's worth it. And I wouldn't say this repeatedly and with conviction if it wasn't, because then I'd be horrified. If you actually are open-minded and willing and you're not looking for you got to be someone you have some humility, where you're like, listen, I know I have ownership in what's going on in my life. And I know that I've been resisting digging more on this stuff. I've been avoiding money stuff instead of addressing it. And if you want that part of your life to change, those are your 3 moves. 2 of them are fucking free. So if you have, if now there's an excuse on top of that you can't do that, or I'll do it later, or oh yeah, whatever, or your brain starts telling you, well, it's free, how good can it be, or we got a problem, because the answer is here. At one point in time, you didn't know who I was. You didn't find me. Or maybe you listened to other people and they were meant to get you to a certain level with this stuff, a certain degree of depth. And now you're ready for a new level of a teacher, a new level of a guide to get you to the level after that. That's all. Some people are meant to be intro level people, and God bless them. I wasn't meant to be that type of coach for you. I'm definitely an advanced level where you're like, enough's a fuck enough already. I need to get to the bottom of this. I can't live like this anymore. I'm done. I surrender. I'm willing. I don't want to waste any more time. That's who I am. So I understand some people aren't there yet. You have to like do some lighter work first. And that's okay. I understand. I still love you. All right, I'm getting off. I love you guys. Have a great night. Obviously, we know I'm going to eat something. Okay. But I do feel the gummies flattening out. So now I feel safe. I feel safe to stop this. Wishing you great health, wealth, and worth as always. Love you so much. Please give feedback on this episode, or it's never happening again.